Hello and welcome back. I'm Son of Mogoth and I'm playing Besiege again. I lasted an entire day before I had to play this damn addictive game again. This is all down thanks to another YouTuber, Captain PussyFeathers. I'll put a link down in the description to his channel. He played a game recently called Trailblazers. I think that's what it was called. And it's somewhat similar to this, and it just put me in the mood to play, and now I can't bloody stop. So thank you, Captain PussyFeathers, for the addiction. I did a somewhat useful tutorial yesterday about the basics of building. We're going to do another one today, but we're going to be using mostly metal components. And I'm going to go over some alternative methods of steering, because there is a block for steering. I think it's called the steering block, in fact. So let's jump in. We're back in the sandbox mode. I've decided I am going to do some of the levels, not as a tutorial, just as a standard let's play, but I want to cover some more of the basics first. Now, we went through these blocks mostly yesterday, and so these, and I mentioned these ones burn, and they burn quickly and easily, and they wreck your machine. One of the ways to avoid that is to use the metal blocks, which are here in mechanical. Now, with the basic blocks, the wooden ones, and just blocks. You've got basic blocks and blocks. These ones are just one block. These ones are 2 blocks, and these are 3. Now, the metal alternatives to this aren't specifically for this purpose, but you can use them to build with. You can build entire machines. This is essentially 2 blocks. And this is the, suspension. So we can just do this and create, again, the ye olde box on wheels. Like that. And we'll just, I know these aren't metal blocks, but this is just for demonstration. Flip that one and flip that one. Again, flip with F. Rotate with R. I think if I hover there, press X to get rid of that one. You can rotate with R, or once you've put it down, you can flip it with F. And again, we're going to use this guy, our key mapper tool. So useful, this tool. As I mentioned before, get used to using it. You're going to be using it a lot. And we'll set that to 5 and 2. This is just the way I prefer to do it. If you've got a way that you'd prefer to set this up, just do what's convenient for you. It's really not a problem. So we'll use this tool, put it on the ground, and you can see we've got a metal frame that can go left and right and forwards and backwards, but it's still got the wooden wheels. It will be slightly more durable, but because we're using suspension hinges, I don't know if you can see it very well, it will be a bit bouncy and a bit bendy, which is good in a way, because it takes impact out of, like when you ram into something, it will compress and take some of the strength out of it instead of just breaking the block. If it's a little bit too twisty and bendy, just use some braces. We'll go back to the basic blocks. Just use some braces, like you can do that, and just take some of the flexibility out of it. We can actually just get rid of that block as well, since it's not doing anything. But it's not necessary. Like I say, a little bit of flexibility in your machines are desirable, I guess. For some reason, it's going around the other way than I expected. So, yeah, when we come up against something like this, you notice the wheels still burn. This is the problem with building metal machines. I think the devs probably did this on purpose, so you can't make indestructible machines. Some machines are almost indestructible, but as long as you've got wheels, there is a component on your machine that's going to burn. But we can get around it. Like I say, no machine is indestructible. If we go back to locomotion, I skipped these blocks yesterday. Now, these are steering blocks. You can use them for steering wheels directly. I've probably set this up wrong because I've not been paying attention, but if we, see, we can use them to rotate left, right. They're pretty slow, but you can go backwards and forwards, and you can rotate left and right. These are in fact set up backwards, so I'm pushing left to go right because I wasn't paying attention, but you get the idea. All you've got to do is highlight it, flip, highlight it, flip, highlight, flip, highlight, flip. And now it should rotate right when I push right and load left when I press left. It's slow, it's clunky, but it works. So instead of doing that, let's lift this up, get rid of these wheels, because like I say, we want for now a completely metal contraption. We can do this and have I don't really want to call it a walking robot. It's sort of walking, I guess. It's close enough, right? There we go. But now we've got the problem where we can't really go forwards. We can only really go right or left. Like, we've lost the backwards and forwards. So, back in the building mode, if you select the block that's hidden in there now, the steering block, you can just change the buttons. So, back to what we had before, 4 and 1. 4 and 1. Some people prefer to do 6 and 3 there. I prefer 5 and 2, but again, your preference. There we go. Now, I still did something wrong. How did I manage that? I can go forwards, I can go backwards, I can go left, and I can go right. No wooden components on this. So, slow. But walking robots, anyone who's built a robot knows that, walking robots will be slower. Wheels are so efficient as a means of locomotion that you're not going to do better with something that walks. And you see that? It didn't burn. It did fall apart, but it didn't burn. So, my recommendation is, again, just to mess with it and see, find a way that suits you. Now, I did something weird with the steering on this. Let me see if I can work out what that was. Because I've got one going backwards and one going forwards. Let me get rid of these blocks so I can actually see the arrows and what is happening with them. I feel like I accidentally flipped a block at some point. Yeah, these look. If I flip them and flip that one, so they all go forwards, they're going that way round. And then you can come back to these, pop them back on. Diddly do, diddly do. I should just fast forward this stuff, but it's going to be like 10 seconds of fast forward footage, and it's a bit jarring to have in a video, so... Now, there you go. It's still really slow, but it is entirely metal, and it is... it's not combustible. Again, if we just trundle slowly over to this... I didn't even... There it goes. It'll still break your machine, and you can use the braces to make it a little bit stronger, so it does that less. But you do have the basics of an entirely metal vehicle here. Now, there are other things we can do to make this stronger and faster. And that's just, with this tool, your best friend, just put the speed up on the rotation. And again, because it's putting more force into the machine, it will have a tendency to twist and bend and break, and so, you know, there you go. It's a little bit faster. I could, in fact, because I'm using pistons as feet, if I tap H to extend the pistons, I mean, I could do that. It's a little bit faster. And I can still break these things. I don't know if the soldiers can break metal blocks. I'll just let them beat on it for a little bit. Are they even trying? No, I think they're just like, oh, we can't break this. We're not going to waste the energy trying. Stamp on them to death. Come on, kill one of them. See, if I was using wheels, they'd be dead. I'd just flatten them underneath. No, I don't think I can flatten them. They just mess around with it. You can put blocks on the end of here, if you like, to make these a little bit more grippy. Somewhere in here, if I remember correctly. There you go, in the blocks. If you move along here, there's a grip pad. And you can just put it on there. It just adds friction when it hits the ground. They don't necessarily make things better. It depends on how you use them and what your machine is made of and how it operates. That, you know, dictates the benefit you get from using any block, to be honest. Let's just try it. You know, like that. Oh, I did a dumb. I jammed my finger down on H for no good reason. So it slips a little bit less with these blocks. But it also adds the problem that if you do want to extend the pistons, they now bump into each other. You can see these two here. They catch on each other, and that will pull your machine apart, like so. It still kind of works. So you can fix that fairly easily. Again, you can use this tool. I prefer that one, but do what's good for you. We'll get rid of these. Rather unceremoniously jamming my finger down on the X button over and over. And we can use more metal blocks. You can put the pistons on the end there and then go back to using the steering hinges. I need to flip that. That'll do. Like that, and then put the legs back on. All I've done there is put these pistons on so that it's one... Oh, crikey. Christ. All it's done is move these wheels, feet, not sure what the best phrase to use is for whatever these are, one block further out. So when I extend the pistons, it will stop them from bashing into each other. So like that, and then we'll set that up the same way. So I forgot to change the speed because I'm an idiot. Like that. There we go. And then if I want to extend them, again, utterly hilarious. It just keeps them out of the way. You notice these two aren't going to hit each other anymore. But look how bendy and twisty and floppy this machine is. You can see it just walking forwards in a straight line, with little in the way of obstacles. It's, and I say, a little bit of flexibility does actually do you good, which goes back to what I was saying about the braces. The braces add strength, but they also take away the flexibility, which makes your machine brittle and more prone to snapping. So yeah, you can see it's just when you try and turn, it's a mess. But we can do something about that as well. Especially great with metal machines. If you select mechanical again, we've used these suspension blocks, we've used these piston blocks. This steering block is essentially the same as the steering blocks, only they just spin. They spin constantly. You can use that as well if you really want. But it's these we're interested in, these grabbers. It says push V to grab or to stop grabbing, but if you put them like that, you can use them to hold your machine together. Because they'll just... this grabber will attach this block to this block permanently until you press V. And even then, it'll start grabbing again when you let go of it. You can set them to toggle if you really want to, but... So we can do that. We've now got, except for these grip pads, which aren't necessary at all. If I'll just get rid of them. I literally only use them as a demonstration of how you can add feet to a robot. I keep calling it a robot. I guess it's not entirely inaccurate. You can use other blocks, like you can use these if you really want to. Oh, I can't actually, because it's in the way of here. If you add another block there to take the legs out a bit, you can like use those as feet if you really want to. Or these. You don't have to use anything, but we might as well just put something on there. There you go. And again, you need to watch out if you're going to use these in a machine like this, because they will bump and smack into the other legs. And so, yeah. You know, it's a lot less bendy, it's a lot less twisty, and it doesn't buckle as much. We can still not kill these guys just by moving over them like we could with the wheels, but you can add weapons to a machine if that's what you want to do. Here we go, here we go. See if I can actually kill one of these guys by stamping on it. Not really. I can knock them over, apparently, which isn't a difficult thing to do. But if we actually wanted to kill these guys, we could just add a weapon. There's a whole tab of weapons that you can use here. The drills are great fun. If they bump into the floor, it'll mess with how your machine works because they're constantly spinning. But they do kill. Let's see if we can just kill somebody with this. If you saw this thing coming towards you, you'd immediately poop your pants. Like, this was built by a person clearly insane. Oh, I knocked that guy over, threw that one in. Yeah, see, we actually killed someone. And so what we've got here is the makings of a machine which doesn't burn. It will, let's say, explode, but it's a lot less prone to it. If we kidnapped a person, I think we've just abducted this guy. He has become one with the machine. Alright, yeah, you're coming with me to explode as a demonstration of how explosions work. And there we go. Oh god, that was bad. And you can see what I was saying about the drill there, if I can get the camera to go where I want. Because the drill's touching the floor, it's moving the machine, but I can still move it. The back wheels still work. Bizarrely. Yeah. Oh, no. No. It's also very difficult to steer because the drill's causing it to spin. So, yeah, metal machines are a lot more durable, but the wheels are a lot more efficient, so you get more speed and control out of them. I'm just going to get rid of these braces that I don't need. So yeah, I didn't cover much about these steering blocks before, simply because I don't use them that often. If we go back to using just wooden blocks like we did before, you can use them in a number of ways. You can put them like that on your machine to move your wheels. Like, you use the wheel... Oh my word, that's going backwards. You can use the wheels as a means of propulsion and use the steering blocks as a method of steering. Oh, because I've set them all in the bloody wrong direction. It doesn't actually steer. It's called being an idiot. There you go. And you can. I am very slowly hooking off to the right, and again very slowly going back to the left. If you use this guy, change the speed, you can get a little bit more steering out of them when you use them in this configuration. There you go. It's a little bit more steerable, because I've made it too long. It's got stuck on the hill. I'll get off that, thank you. Again, when I started my other tutorial, we had a machine somewhat like this. Not really very exciting. Not technically brilliant. But as a demonstration of how these steering hinges work, I'm hoping that you get the idea on how to use them. There is another way that you can use them, and I'll just go over that quickly. You can use them like so. Instead of using 4, you can use 2. And we'll use wood. I know this is supposed to be a tutorial about metal machines, but as I say, just for illustration. I just built that upside down. Not really sure why I did that. It's because I was concentrating on what I was saying rather than what I was doing. It's a problem that I have. Once I start talking, I get lost. Like that. I'm sure one of those is round the wrong way, maybe both. And then you can just do this. We'll use the basic wheels, we might as well. Flip that one over, flip that one over. And you can use them like that. Oh god, that was weird. Ugh, I'm not sure what I did there, but it was a thing and I don't know what it was. But yeah, you can use them like that. Like an axle, I guess. it's a little bit better than using them directly on the wheels, but they can get out of alignment, which can be a bit of a problem. And if you turn them too far, you can actually break your own machine with them. Let me go start again and do that. Look, you can just, because they're turning into the machine itself, it just breaks it apart. Again, duct tape fixes everything. I know this isn't actual duct tape, it's just what I call it. You can do something like that just to make it a little bit stronger. Not entirely necessary. And again, you can just click that and you can get a little bit more of a reaction out of them. Oh, it's still weird and fiddly, but it is possible. Oh god, they broke it immediately. So many parts for them to break, they just did as soon as they were able to. So that's steering hinges. You can use them on wooden machines and metal machines, and I should just use this tool to destroy it. So play around with it. There are other metal parts you can use, like the hinge, the swivel joints and ball joints. These are just pieces of armour you can use. There's a whole section of armour here. Not sure why you would use a wooden plank as armour when you can use the metal plank, which doesn't burn. But as an aesthetic, it's purely your choice. It is your design after all, and that's the fun you get from this, is building something kind of insane and trying to get it to work. So, metal machines. You can do like a hybrid. You can build a mostly metal machine with your wooden wheels, like so. I'm just gonna do something like that, which is just dumb looking and insane, but you get the idea, I hope. And if you want to try and protect these wheels, you can do that as well. Like these metal pieces of armour, you can just clamp that directly on the wheel. There is a plough here that I think I used briefly in the last video that I did, but you can also use them up the other way, if that makes sense. You can rotate them to use them as a shield, if you like, for... I don't think that's going to work, actually, because it needs to be... I mean, you could do that, you see what I mean, and use it as protection for the wheels. Or you could... I'm just going to use a wooden block quick. You could do something like this. If you put it underneath, I've actually done this on a number of my machines, like have a little shield there. If you're on a level where the soldiers shoot arrows at you, that can actually do quite well at protecting your wheels. And you get rid of this, but the problem with doing something like that is as soon as you press play, it's not attached to anything, so it just rolls off. Look at the state of this thing. What even is this? And there is a way to fix that as well, with another block which isn't burnable. Strangely, in the flight section, it's called ballast, and it's described as an adjustable weight, and you can see it's a metal block that doesn't burn, and you can change the weight of it, so it's very, very light. Again, use this guy, click it. The mass of the block is here. You can make it very, very light or very, very heavy. I think the idea is that you can put it on the front or the back of a flying machine and use it to counteract forces, but they do very well in regular machines. Like these ones. If I just... because I've put that in the wrong place and it's bugging me. I'll just fix that quick. You can build something like that, and then you can get rid of the extra blocks and hold them in place with the braces. Do you remember when I said duct tape fixes everything? You can do something like that. Let's do that again on the other side, just so it's symmetrical. Again. And you can do all sorts of designs with this. No, go down there. There we go. And then you can use your X button or this to get rid of your extra blocks. How... God, I did that weird, man. That hurts my brain a little bit. There you go, like that. So now you've got some protection for your wheels. You've got a metal frame with wooden wheels. Oh, and I forgot to set up the steering, so this is going to be an absolute nightmare. But as you can see, the wheels can kill the soldiers just by hitting them hard enough. Way! It's pretty simple. There's no steering on this whatsoever. But we can change that. Just let's do this quick. Again, this is the way I like to do it. Do it your way if you don't like it this way. There we go. We should now have a machine which is steerable and mostly metal. The wheels are somewhat protected. The problem being that the soldiers will recognise the wheels are destructible and prioritise their attacks on them. And if you've got something like a flamethrower from the weapons section, you can still set fire to your own device. One of the greatest, well, not that I'd say the greatest things I've made, some of the most fun I've had is trying to build a machine that will work without wheels. Something that doesn't burn. It's not entirely successful the first time, which is why I always suggest just play, just fiddle with things and see what you can get to work and what you can't get to work. But this has hardly got any actual blocks. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could make the entire thing just out of these blocks. I mean, you can absolutely just do this. That's way too long. Yeah, you just do this. Grab some wheels. As I mentioned before, I like these wheels. They're nice and chunky. You can do that. Again, set up the steering. If you prefer the steering blocks, use the steering blocks. If you prefer the steering hinges, you can do that as well. There's all sorts of methods you can use to make machines on this. Again, you've got a hybrid machine, I guess, with a metal chassis and wooden wheels. And you can take these blocks out as well, like, be inventive. Hold the machine together with these braces, and there's less for the soldiers to hit and destroy. So you can do something like that. Again, it looks ridiculous, but it's functional. Goes left and right, backwards and forwards. Let's throw something on to protect these wheels, just for fun. You can use these armour plates, which I think are designed for wheels, to be honest. You can use these ones. Looks a bit odd compared to the other side, which actually looks like a wheel with an armour plate on it, but Or, there's another thing that I like to do. Again, if you go into the weaponry, you grab a circular saw, you can just slap one of these on there. You can see they're quite big, they're quite hefty. Like, almost the same size as your wheel. Like that. So, you know, use a wooden wheel and protect them. I wonder if you can actually kill people with them, because I think they're supposed to be horizontal, where these ones are vertical. If I just face my wheels at these guys and let them trundle on over, if they'll kill themselves on these buzzsaws. No, it doesn't look like it. You could possibly, if you are a lunatic, use those buzzsaws as wheels. You could do this. Not ideal, because they're not smooth. Did I just put those on backwards again? Why is it that I keep doing that? Because, anyway, because they're not smooth, they don't operate very well. And, as I say, you can control the speed and acceleration, but you can't go forwards and backwards. They're not customizable like wheels are. But, I mean, if you're absolutely, you know, you got your heart set on using them, you can just use steering hinges as steering and use the buzzsaws as wheels, and then you've got an entirely metal vehicle there. But I say they're always on, so you can't really. You've got a lot less control, is what I'm trying to say, and failing. Like, normally I'd stop and back up at this point, but I can't, because I'm using a weapon as wheels. And turn, 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 thank you. But you get my point. This is a functional vehicle. You could use this on quite a few levels. I wouldn't recommend it, because the actual levels require a degree of control. You have to perform particular tasks. But you can, if you really want to, move over there. Christ, sorry, I'm trying to get this guy to go through those tents. There we go, there we go. Go that way. And, yeah, I mean, it hasn't broken yet, which is quite impressive, considering I am bragging it quite a lot. If you want to make it even less controllable, we can press space and just up the speed on these things. I'm not sure what effect this is going to have. Let's just do it. Great fun games. You might as well just mess with it and enjoy. Oh God, oh Christ, oh no. This is unsteerable. Deadly, but unsteerable. And I've just realised as well, if it flips over, it can still operate. It's almost impossible to steer. I'm trying to get these tents. No, 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 no. No, no, that's it. No, go straight. Go. No, why are you going over there? Because it's bouncing and flipping and going all over the place. I'm now back the right way up. Oh no, now I'm upside down again. Oh my word. Yeah, so I'm going to get stuck against this wall. Oh no, I'm not. It's just going to propel me off into the distance. See if I can find some of the machines that I've built. I'm going to put my hands up. Some of these are in fact downloaded from the workshop, and some of them I've made, but because I've moved computers, the thumbnails are missing. But I think this is, yeah, there you go, an entirely metal machine. I've put it facing the wrong way. You can do that. There you go. Completely metal. completely unburnable, slow, and I think I've broken it already. And you can see that there's the armor plates are being used as feet for gripping, which I tried to demonstrate earlier and then gave up on, but absolutely. Oh god, oh this poor thing is in pain. Right, I'll put this out of its misery. Find one that I'm absolutely sure that I made. I've used that other one as a frame before. Let me have a look. There you go, here's one. Again, I'm obsessed with making robots that walk. Because they're just so completely unnecessarily complicated. This one's got... I made this one entirely with steering hinges. As I showed before, there's a steering hinge here, and there's another one there, and when you press forwards, they both rotate, so it lifts and turns at the same time to create a walking disaster. And it does turn, it's slow and impractical. I've used the half pipe attachment. I'm not sure if that's from the armour or the weapons, but I've used them as feet. And I've just put some cannons on the front, just for the hell of it, really. Really no other reason to do that. And you can see, like, the soldiers are having a go at me. They can't really damage it that well. I can damage them. I think this one can stamp on them to death. It's just a bit weird getting them underneath the feet. It's like a... I don't know, it's like a spider that's gone wrong at some point. But, let me just have a look what these actually... Half pipe, I think that's... There you go, half pipe. I mean, I could possibly use the plough as a foot, like that, maybe. It'll work better, maybe it'll work worse, I'd have to try it. And you can build all sorts of demented contraptions. I think this was an early version. You don't have just plastered weapons all over it. Like, I'm going to kill everything. And these things on the back, I know I haven't really covered these specifically. These are just some weapons I've put on. These are standard rockets that you get. Let's see if I can aim them at these tents. And I've just put steering hinges down and assigned a button to them so I can just aim them a little bit. These things are somewhat unpredictable, but if I just... Oh, well, not great. This is another thing that I like to make as a weapon, entirely made of metal again. It's just... Oh, am I gonna... I'll just drop it now and show you what it is rather than crawl all the way over to the tents. It's on a block called a decoupler that you can see there. And all it does is just detaches. If I just press this button, that thing will... The decoupler will let go of it and it'll just sit there and spin. It'll absolutely wreck anyone that comes near it. And it's made out of... I think pistons. If I press the piston button, you can see it extend and contract. Like, and it'll just spin there. It'll destroy buildings. It'll kill people. It's just it's an entirely metal weapon as well, so it's not going to burn. My machine is slowly killing itself. I've lost several legs. Again, walkers, not entirely practical, especially if you want to do missions. They're fiddly and awkward. But they don't burn and they don't explode. Well, I mean, they do explode. They explode just as much as anything else, but they tend to hold together. Now, I did make a really, really simple machine. Again, entirely metal, quite explosion resistant, and like, there it is, the rover. Just like a little Mars rover I was trying to build, and it's shockingly good, actually. I can't remember what buttons I've set it up as. Oh, my normal buttons. Well done, Mark. You did it good. Let's say it's got no wheels. It just uses those armour plates. It's just a starting block, 2 ballast blocks, 4 steering hinges, and some armour. And you'd be surprised how durable this thing is. Like, obviously being a rover, it's slow, but you can... Oh, wow! It didn't even... It's going so slow it didn't blow up the bomb. I'm just going to see if I can push this over to somewhere and use it. There you go. I wonder if I can hook it over towards these guys. Oh! Well, there you go. I exploded it. And this machine is not broken. Where's the other bomb? I think there's another bomb around here. It's right there. I'm just going to go and get this. Like, you can explode this thing multiple times, and it doesn't break. It does break eventually, just not very easily. It's slow and it's tedious, but I just wanted to build something that was like a Mars rover or a Moon rover. Boom. Again, I didn't go fast enough for it to actually explode. Is that sheep coming at me? Back off, sheep. I've got a bomb and I know how to use it. Oh, alright, see if I can push this bomb into this other sheep and do us all in. Yes, die! Again, I'm still alive. Those sheep are definitely not. I think I'm going to leave it there. I've kind of gone off the rails a little bit, but these machines are all metal. They don't burn. We covered a little bit of a hybrid idea where you can have the wooden wheels. I think I've got several walking machines that use the... Is that one? Oh god, I'm not even sure if this works. There you go. I've just used wooden wheels to put metal legs on them directly, and this is gonna be horrendous for sure. There you go, look. Absolutely stupid, completely impractical, but a lot of fun. Just my attempt at making a walking robot that's... I mean, it just looks bizarre. Oh, and there you go. It's already broken. That's the problem you get with walking robots, is that they break. They break really easily. You can do other... Oh my god, it just breaks every time I try and talk. You can do other spectacular things that I'm not going to cover here. You know, if you're interested in making something like a tank, which I've got examples of, you can make actual... There you go, that one will do. This is just a little tank that I've made. And it functions as a tank, but you can see it's got wooden wheels inside to make the tracks move. You can potentially do it with the metal steering hinge, but it's a lot harder, so it's a lot more complicated, and complicated vehicles break easily. So it's just a matter of you deciding what balance you want from your machine. Wow, that was all the cannonballs. Jesus Christ, I put a lot on this thing. You say they're slow and they're clunky and they're heavy and they break easily, and it's up to you whether you want to spend the time using them, building them or not. But the limits of this as a game are just what you can imagine. You'd be amazed at what people have built, and it's all available. I don't want to say all, but most of it is available on Steam Workshop, so you can just download stuff that other people have done and use it as inspiration. I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. I'd recommend building your own things, getting it wrong over and over and over again. That's where the majority of fun comes from playing this, is just doing it wrong and laughing at how dumb that you can be. There you go, just burnt the wheels off. This thing is now completely inoperable. Oh, I can still move the cannons. Apart from that one. I can't move that one anymore because it broke. But there you go, like I say, I'm going to leave it there with this complete mess of a thing that used to be a tank, and let you go off and explore. I think I'm going to probably do another video on this game. I might just do a let's play and just do some of the missions and see if I can remember how to do them properly and show people what they're like if they're curious. But yeah, I think I'm done. I think you guys are probably done as well by now, listening to me to drone on about wheels and gears and legs and feet and God knows what else. I hope this was useful. I hope somebody is going to get some learning out of this, and instead of just giving up like a lot of people do, because let's face it, the controls are fiddly, the camera's a little eccentric, and people just quit because of it. Don't. Persevere. Do wrong. Build things that don't work. Build things like this that fall apart, and just enjoy yourself. Nothing is, stopping you building anything other than, well, you, I guess. It's all your fault if it doesn't work, and it's up to you to fix it. Oh, I pressed space and nothing happened, and it confused me, so you just got some dead air there. Again, I'm going to go. If you want something specific for me to cover, like I'm sure I've missed plenty here. I haven't covered any of the weapons or the flight. There's still a bunch of blocks that haven't been even remotely explained. If you want me to go over them, say so and I'll go over that. If you want something specific explained, maybe something to do with flight or using a torque engine to steer a contraption, I'm not the best person to explain it, but I'll try. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I keep forgetting to remind people to do that. Just push the buttons down underneath this video, and maybe we can build up a bit of a community and do what we want to do. And because it's a small community, I think I've only got like 12 subscribers at this point, maybe less. Well, the interaction between us will be a little bit more personal, and if you want to build on that, feel free. I'm always open to game suggestions, and I'll be shouting out some of the people that helped me as well. So I'm going to leave. I've said that about 10 times. Have a good day.